Well, as you could see, it was pissing rain and I had nothing to do. I was reviewing my last roll of film and reminiscing of better times. Sunnier times. Anyways, it was absolutely miserable outside, but then I thought, oh shit, waterfalls like water, and I have a new shitbox to try out. Anyway, welcome to the first one of these, and here we go. Alright, so the plastic shitbox in question is the Kalimar LX11 point-and-shoot camera. I bought this off of Facebook Marketplace a couple weeks ago for a couple shekels, and I've been dying to try it out. Let me just say this is one of the most stupid simple cameras I've ever held. It's made completely of plastic as far as I can tell, and it functions just like a disposable camera, but the thing is that it doesn't need a battery. This baby has two modes. It has daylight mode and flash mode, or cloudy weather mode. I don't really know. Looks like that cloudy mode might activate the hot shoe, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't try it out because who needs flash? Anyway, I knew that this bitch probably needed a lot of light, just like I need a will to live and beer. Went with some Ilford HP5, of course, because I really wanted to see how this camera handled the black and white look. Took a couple test shots, and yeah, they are definitely the photos of all time. Of course, I'm not going to waste a whole weekend's worth of adventure and possibly great photos on a plastic camera, and loaded up my AE-1, which, by the way, it felt a lot better loading this than the plastic Kalimar. Woke up extremely late the next day, so I took my dog to the dog park. Normally I take her on adventures like this with me, but my wife is out of town this weekend and she's really the one that helps control the dog. She's very anxious. So I made sure she had all of her sniffs at the dog park and she was all satisfied because she was gonna be alone for a while. Packed up way too much equipment and fed the gremlins. Obviously, I had to give my dog a little treat because I was gonna be gone all fucking day. Loaded up on some scrumptious heart attack juice on the way. I wanted to get out and take more photos along the drive, but I felt myself kind of a little hesitant to do it. I think it was because I was a little bit nervous shooting a video like this for the first time. Anyways, I made it to my first destination, Chiango Falls State Park. Took my happy ass down the gorge trail and got my first look at the waterfall. I really like the color on this one. The framing, not so much. It's a little lopsided, but you know, you can justify anything, dramatic tension or some bullshit like that. While I was shooting this waterfall, I completely forgot to take a photo of it with the Kalimar. I don't know why I didn't. I was just a little bit hesitant to shoot it, and looking back, like, what the fuck did I have to lose? Like, one exposure? Like, not really a big deal. Found these cool rocks, and I really wanted to see how the Kalimar worked in low light conditions. So yeah, not a terrible photo. It's definitely a photo of all time. Anyway, I hopped back in the whip and enjoyed some little New York State back roads. We just moved to this area, as I've said in my previous video, and I really love it so far. These roads and stuff kind of remind me of where I grew up. I stopped at this cool park at a lake along the way, and I just had to take this photo, which ended up being one of my favorite of the batch. Rolled up to my next location and saw an obvious opportunity. I mean, just look how beautiful that mountain is. I just love the grain in it. I don't know if it's HP5 doing its thing, but I love it. This place was called Labrador Hollow Unique Area, and yeah, that's actually its name. Also, around this time, became pretty self-aware of how stupid I looked with all my gear. This area had a awesome lake that I just knew I had to use some Cinestill on, and come on, look at those colors, just beautiful. I was also beginning to feel a little bit more self-aware as I set up my tripod and filmed myself of how dumb I looked. Hopped back in the whip and drove down the road to the area's main attraction, which is called Chiango Falls. This waterfall was a little bit on the short side. Got a nice shot on the Kalimar though. I also ate shit on the way down and kind of put me in the sour mood for the rest of the day. Set up my camera and watched a bunch of people fall around me as well. So it resulted in this long exposure shot that's way overblown. Here's a shot I took of it on the Kalimar. I know, it looked and I'll explain later. So dirty and damaged ego with me, I took my happy ass back to the car and trekked onwards. I decided to actually use the Kalimar on the drive there, and here's some bangers, man. I feel like there's at least one portfolio shot in one of those. I don't know. I noticed that all of these places had like an obligatory like Falls Road on them, which makes sense, I guess. We had arrived to Ithaca Falls. I wanted to take a crack at a lower shutter speed at least one more time, even though it was broad daylight and I didn't have an ND. So I kept my camera facing away from the sprinkles of water, and this is what came out. This is kind of what I was going for, but obviously a lot of detail was lost in the highlights. You know, if I had an ND filter, like I mentioned 3 billion times, it would have been a lot better, but you know, what can you do? Here's the rest of the photos that I took in this area. I pretty much just wanted to finish up the roll of Cinestill. I got home and my animals looked like, well, this. My dog was super sad, probably because, you know, I left her at home for 7 hours. So I took her to the dog park again and finished off the roll of the Kalimar. They're definitely photos, but that's all right because this channel is about testing things out and having very low expectations as to what we're shooting with. It was time to roll her up, and here's why you saw those lines in some of the photos. I mean, the lines completely ruined at least like 10 of them. It all kind of made sense to me because when I was rewinding this camera, yeah, it was giving me a lot of pushback. I checked the instructions while I was doing this, but the instructions said it was normal to have a lot of tension and just to keep going until there was no tension left. So I just said it and kept rolling it. So needless to say, I wasn't really surprised when the photos developed like this. 90% sure that it's perforations from the rough rewind, but if it's something else, let me know in the comments. Maybe I'm stupid. So the Kalimar LX11 is definitely a camera, not exactly one that I plan to use as a go-to point and shoot, but I'm definitely not going to get rid of it either. I also didn't use color film on the Kalimar for this video, so I feel like I did it a little bit dirty. But honestly, there were some shots that I took that, honestly, keepers, man. Again, I'm not sure if it was just the HP5 working its magic, but I think that the camera might have worked its magic a little bit. Unless you're really pushing the film, you don't get this shitty kind of grainy, like 1920s look that I got in these. I guess when you get these types of cameras, you set your expectations really low. I wasn't happy with what I shot, but I wasn't disappointed with what I shot. I mean, there were some good photos in there, and I achieved what I wanted to achieve in this video. Try out a piece of shit and have fun. I'm gonna be doing more videos like this because I have so much more gear to fuck around with. So if you like videos like this, go ahead and subscribe.